Sanbonani and welcome to Voice Out with myself, Queen KR. Today we are having Oz Beats in the studio. We will be talking about his journey in the entertainment industry and his news. It's sort of body flying news and trending stories, and he'll be telling us more about him writing stories. So some of us, we were featured in the newspaper. It's online. So thank you so much, Oz Beats, for joining us on the show.
The pleasure's all mine.
Oh, nice. Having a legend in the studio, right? Yeah, he is a legend. Dr. Oz Beats, you can imagine how about a doctor, meaning when ukura those beats. So tell us more about who Dr. Oz Beats is.
Okay, well, who am I and what am I all about? I'm just a human being that makes things to happen.
I'm just saying, don't be modest. You are one person a lot of people look up to, especially on social media. You were known for comedy. For a moment, there was a time where I thought you were a comedian.
Social media is a big space for people where they unwind.
Right.
People are going through a lot. But social media is the place that people go to. If they're not talking to their husbands, their boyfriends, their colleagues, that's where people are. And I like being the center of the stage for some reason.
Okay.
So because I have the ability to get people talking, so I will talk about serious issue but make it fun. So then that gets to a lot of engagement. And then naturally I make jokes, so it becomes easy. Hence you might find me as a comedian, because when people are there to unwind, you can't be telling people deep stuff. You are killing people. So that's how most people know me, through social media, because I talk nonsense.
Yeah, you do. And there was a time, but however, in that nonsense, there was a time where you advocated for plus size women.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so my mom is plus size. My sister's plus size,
right?
And then we've got the mediums, because I've got sisters and
the mediums.
The one that comes after me, and the other one is a slender as well. So now you are in a community where it's talking so much bad about women, and you are born of women, right? So I have my mother. If someone insults plus size women, I look at my mother and I feel a pain. So now I was like, okay, so how then do we live with people, right, where we treat each other, right? So I was like, okay, and the funny thing is, men say these things, you understand? So I was like, let me be that guy that speaks for women.
Yeah.
So because, you got to put a little bit of charm here and there, sometimes you got to lie to make sure people get convinced.
There were times where there were some women that ended up maybe developing a crush.
No,
this guy is such a sweet person.
Look, I'm naturally sweet. But the point is, I had to do that. Earlier on, I said I had to lie. I didn't lie about plus size people, but what I had to do is, you have to give people more compliments, to a point where they start developing confidence. You understand? So once someone has confidence, you can't take that down. So for me, I was a very shy person. I'm still a shy person, right? So I developed my strength in overcoming my shyness by being in front of people, right? So then my confidence came from there. So I was like, okay, so then how do you get plus size women to gain confidence? You just have to look at the way they look and be honest. And even if there's one thing that which people might be using against them, which might be the belly, which might be the thighs, so you look at that and you look for the strength from that, and then you complement what everyone else is criticizing. And that's how I gained momentum, and I had a lot of plus size following. And coming to crushes, it's given, that one. Plus size or no plus size. Yeah. Everybody,
remember that we live in a society where when people get bashed, when there's this one person, Ubakari, you are a knight in shining armor somewhere. It's like you are the softer one, you are the sensitive one. So I believe some women develop that because they saw, hey, this guy is there for us.
Look, if we're being honest, we like anyone who speaks good of us, despite being a plus size.
True.
If you are at work and someone says you are doing a good job, you're going to like that person.
True. Because needs a confidence.
Exactly.
I love that.
The people that never say anything, unfortunately, are the ones that we should go and ask questions. Why are you quiet?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know. But honestly, in honest conversation, people prefer people who compliments them. I
love
mean,
that.
that is why, as a woman, if you have a man and your man doesn't tell you the nice things, another man tells you the nice things.
You end up developing the crush go the other one.
Yeah. If beside that crush, you start liking, and then,
Or even have that emotional affair.
of course,
Yeah.
everybody. Okay, let me not go there.
Right. Wow. So let's talk about your upbringing. Where did you grow up? Tell me more about that.
Okay, so I was born here in Leratong, but I grew up in Limpopo, and then I came back here 2005, 4,
Right.
18th of November, I remember.
Right.
So, so I came here. So I've been here. I've been in Soweto for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
But I have moved around trying to make a living for myself. You know, so I've been in Benoni. I've been in I've been in the east. I've been in Benoni. I've been in Bedford.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's talk about your music journey.
Okay.
Where it started. Why music?
So that one is it's given because now when I was growing up, my elder brother, which is the second born, so at home we're about 6. So the elder brother, which is like the first male to the us who are males. So he liked Tupac, DMX at the time. So all the time when we were at home, he would be playing that and doing, you know, rapper how they do it. So he did that, and I got into music because I loved how my brother did his thing, right? So moving forward to where I ended up doing, being a musician, it was the fact that at home there's a church, right? A church has sound, you understand? And it just grew more and more from there. And next thing you know, you're on TV.
And then tell me about the biggest projects that you've done when you were in the music industry.
Okay, there's 3.
Okay.
One, I did a project for Brothers for Life. That was my first big project. That was my
Okay.
first big
Yeah.
project. Okay, so what happened was a friend of mine was shooting. Actually, this friendship was still new. He had just gotten a gig with Brothers for Life. He was supposed to do an ad for them. So when he was doing an ad, for some reason, they were talking about the soundtrack. It's like, no, I'm an artist. I can do that. And then he came to me. It's like, hey, Ozzy, listen, we at work, they're looking for this. I'm like, no, simple. It's like, do you have beats? I have tons of beats. Then I play beats, and then he picked one, and then he went and present the song. Actually, so we recorded the song. So he went and presented the song that we did. Those days I was fast, man. These days I'm very slow. Those days I was fast. We could do a song, mix in the same day and send it. So this was like 2013, 14, somewhere. I don't remember correctly. So he takes the song, and then he sent it there, and then they approved. So that was my first one. And then guess what? On the same project, so his friend was coming to pick them from the studio to take them home because he had a car, they didn't have a car. So when he came, and that's when I met Sean Gun Flavor. Now it's Mr. Gun.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of my second big project.
Right.
I'm very good at making projects from new friends for some reason.
Yeah.
Old friends don't change anything.
Yeah.
So the second project, what happened was, this is the one that landed us at Mabala Noise.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and the third one, I wouldn't call it that big, but those are stuff that I've done for SABC, like your jingles, you know, promo, stuff like that.
So tell me about you joining Mabala Noise. How was that experience for you? And he loved.
Honestly, it's every musician's dream to be on the bigger spotlight. When we got there, honestly, I was like, everything happened so fast because
Boom, boom, boom.
yeah, like we're not used to that. We're recording a song, the next thing while you're recording the song, the other song is on radio. You know, the next thing there's interviews, campaign, you're moving from this station to that station. I mean, it's I wouldn't trade that for anything. I don't want to lie. That's it's a superstar's dream.
Yeah, to be there.
To be there.
Yeah. And then why leave then?
Everybody has to grow.
I love that.
Everybody has to grow. It doesn't matter if the company is good or not good. That's beside the point. Do you see yourself, even if the company is the biggest in the country, you need to see yourself beyond that, because for them to be established, they seen themselves beyond where they were.
Yeah.
You know, so and for me, for us to live, we saw a better opportunity, and that's why we had to grow.
And then let's talk about the negative side. People
Yeah.
would always have a lot of negative stuff to say about record labels.
Okay.
And you were part of a record label.
Okay.
So let's talk about that.
Are you speaking in particular of Mabala Noise or just any record label?
Mabala Noise in particular, and others, I guess.
Okay, so here's the thing. In a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, right?
Okay, that's an example, right?
Yes, in a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, right? Only the two knows what's happening.
Right.
So the things that are being spoken of, there's a little bit of, there's truth and there's lies.
Right.
Do you understand? People don't say where they are wrong.
They'll only stick to the part where the other party is wrong.
Yes. Do you know why? Because people like sympathy. People like people supporting them. People can support you with the truth. People will support you with lies.
True.
Do you understand? So you look, so in order for people to gain momentum, there has to be a little bit of truth.
Right.
To say, look at Java, look at Nasty C, look at 123, 123. So every record label is gonna have that side that it's bad. No company is perfect. You know, of course, companies, there's what they do, which I have no say about it. But when someone is angry, they have a lot to say. Not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah, true, true. Especially when you are angry, just lash out.
Yes, you just emotional. Once you sit down and you're calm, and that's where you realize, like, flip, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But you can't take your words back now.
Yeah, because you've said it.
What's done is done.
Yeah. And then let's talk about your, being in the entertainment industry. What are some of the lessons that you've learned, especially when you were still like a full-time music producer?
Okay. This is interesting. Lesson number one. Okay. Lesson number one. People, when they get into the music, they get in because of the art. They sing, they play guitar, bass, keys, or drums, right? So the first thing that people will do is to focus on that, right? And they forget that there's paperwork. You know, people need to focus on the business side as well. You don't have to be that smart. I mean, at home, you're not born alone. You have friends. You know, you have relatives. And this thing doesn't start when you get signed. It starts from an early age as an artist. Know people around you. What can they help? How can they chip in? So that was my first lesson, going there, guns blazing by myself. You know, when things hits the fan, you're on your own. Because now, Vele, you went there by yourself.
Yeah.
So the biggest lesson is that people must have friends that knows things better than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about your HMR News.
Okay.
Tell me about that project and when it started.
Okay. So there's probably 3 reasons beside money.
Oh, besides money.
Yeah, beside the money. There's 3 reasons why I started that.
Okay.
One, in 2016,
okay,
when I started with the second friend, which is Shotgun, right? I've always been on social media, but when we did his project, I was the advocate. I was busy when this is needed, this is that, this is that, this is needed. It was ready.
Right.
So social media was there, it was pushing. I just didn't know it was business when I was doing it.
Okay.
Right? So then when I went on in 2017, I started getting clients from them. They said, no, we see you've got a thing. Do you mind doing this for a business for us? I remember my first client was a lawyer. I did that for a law firm.
Right.
And then from there, now that it's a social media, now I realize, like, okay, I've got crowd that comes into me. What do you do with this crowd? So because I'm doing social media, then I realize, like, okay, I'm making less money
than you should.
Yeah. So what's the other way of making money? Is create valid news, you know, things that exist instead of making stupid jokes all the time.
Yeah.
So I turned that into the news. The second reason was, I've always wanted to have a news empire with you know,
As part of your
yeah,
journey.
but even though I was making music, I was, you know, all these things, I've always wanted that. So The third one, beside making money and wanting an empire, was when I actually started. There's a guy that I work with who's is a news editor. He has just finished school. He has always looked up to me. I
Right.
remember sitting him down when he was young, and I told him, "Listen, your life, where you're going, look at the situation at home. If you don't change it, nobody
one
else is
will.
gonna do it. Look around you. It's not a good thing." So he listened to me. So I remember I motivated him until he passed matric. When he passed matric, he came to me. So when he got a degree, he came back to me to say, "Listen, I have finished what you said I started."
Yeah.
So last year he came back to me. He says, "Mr. Oz, listen, I don't have a job." So he gave me a responsibility.
DreamStream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcast in our full-service studio. DreamStream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcast in our full-service studio. DreamStream, a place to create yourself.
To like that's
So
but
it came faster than I expected. So I went home. I sat and I was like, okay, so what can I do? What can I do? Okay, I can't put him here. It would be a lot of work to teach him what I'm already doing, which was the social media. So I was like, okay, beside the social media, let me create what he studied. So he studied things to do with communications. I just forgot what his degree is. So I was like, okay, do you know how to write articles? He says, yes, I've studied that. I've worked 1, 2, 3 as for practicals to get my degree. I'm like, okay, cool. So I sat down like, aha, that news thing I've always wanted, it's here. So I spoke to him. I said, okay, listen, I have an idea. We're going to start with a Facebook page.
okay.
No, we're gonna start with a Twitter page because my influence on Twitter was getting bigger and better. I was like, we're gonna start with the Twitter page. So we open a Twitter page, and then we open a Facebook page.
Right.
So now we have a Twitter, now we have Facebook, right?
Right.
Now the news are circulating, now they're circulating. Although most of the news we got, it's more like redirecting the news, you know. So now coming to where we are now, so we had the Facebook and then we have the Twitter page. So now my problem was people don't just trust Facebook and Twitter. They
Yeah.
need something real,
Right.
right? And what did we do? We had to open the website, and we have never looked back ever since.
And then what type of stories do you guys cover?
We basically covers almost everything, but this news side, it's more for the media industry, like your entertainment actually.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because as I've been an artist myself or as a music producer, I've seen a gap that is lacking there in the for artists, you know. Even if you were to call any other artist now, ask them about their bio, they're gonna be like, it's gonna be
That's the-
you know. And these people, they have their music playing on radio. You know, people are still disorganized, and people believe that no, we need that person, we need that person. So these are basic information that people should have. So my platform, what it does, or our platform rather, what it does is it provides a spotlight for those people, in particularly upcoming artists than popular artists. And I'll tell you why. It's easy to find a popular artist
Then
news than an upcoming news until they trend.
sure.
So how we work is you send your music, we'll listen to it,
Right.
right? If it's worthy of the news, we'd write about it. If it still needs a little bit of work, because I've been a music producer, I am not scared to turn someone down and tell them what to fix. If they force, they will have to pay us to write the story. But in most of the case, we are very honest with the people that send us their information about their music.
So in terms of what are some of the future plans that you are currently working on with this project, Yadi News?
That's a big one, hey? My whole life, because I grew up in church, we have learned to share You know, you don't preach to yourself. You need people to preach to. That's the first step.
Yeah.
And before you even get there, you need people to support you, to help you get the word out.
True.
And that is your cleaner. You know, and that's the security guard who watches over, and then there's a caretaker that watches over the building. So my point is, this whole thing, I'm just praying that it creates more employment than what I have already created by myself. You understand? This project, it's an independent project. I'm fully funding it from the social media business that I have. So the money that comes there comes this side, so that this side, when we get sponsors, it can pay for itself. So it's to create more employment, and also it will be nice to be recognized worldwide.
I love that. I really love that. And then let's talk about the response that you get from the people that read your articles and people that follow you.
There's an article I wrote about Silo Makekangu,
Okay.
Achimoroka, for those that know.
Yeah, but 2000 no Sello Makekangu. Rena re tseba AKA Achimoroka.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's an article I wrote about him, and I just took a gamble because I've got an interaction on Twitter. So he was writing about this thing because it's online. I did facts, I checked them and published, send him the link. And then, so before I published the link, I said to him, I went to his DM and I said, did you notice what you've tweeted about is missing the time and the venue, I think, one of that. It's like, I wasn't aware. And I said, the reason I saw this is because I'm writing an article. So he came back quicker. I think he made a call and he came back quicker. So the article was just waiting for a date and the venue. And I published. So the link was ready. I sent him the link. Guess what? He read the article and then he gives you feedback. And then he was like, wow, what a well-written article.
Wow.
And from there, beside family, friends, I've always known that, you know, because they give you
Positive
yes.
feedback, yeah.
But you see, sometimes we all want that big person to say, you can do this, even though you know you can do it. I think that's what pushes us further. And the second person, it's Touchline from Etembis as a rapper. I had written an article. So a friend of mine tells me that, okay, no, I'm working with Touchline. I'm like, oh, I actually wrote an article about him. It's like, really? I sent him the link as well. So when I sent him the link, and then so that's when we got the feedback directly. The third person was from DJ Oskido.
Okay.
So what happened with the Oskido story, I actually know the producer that works with Oskido. So it's more or less the similar story to Touchline. So I asked them to say, guys, listen, I've got a platform that's built for artists. So if you have press release, send it to me. Trust me, working with popular artists is kind of I'm in a league.
Very difficult.
So we did get the press release, but we got it later. So, but what we wrote, fortunately, knowing that guy has helped me to get the direct feedback to say, okay, no, we are happy, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and they promised to give us more. So now we have reached out to a lot of artists and, you know, a lot of people to say, this is who we are and this is what we are all about. And so the feedback from such people, it's quite amazing.
And then, you know, before we go to our closing, what are some of the advices that you can give, especially to artists? I mean, you've been there. Omunye ufuna ama-beats, uyacula, but ufuna ama-beats, and how can they go about that? Meeting producers, having a relationship, a very good one with producers, and, you know, what advices can you give them?
Okay, so I was told to talk directly to the artist. So it works like this. Before you get any beat, you know, when you work with people, it's always about relationships. You understand? Build relationships with people.
Yeah.
Things are free when you have relationships.
Mahal.
Things are free when you have relationships because the reason things are costly is because people don't know you. People don't care. They're like, we charge 300,000 and you're going to pay for that 300,000 and more, right?
Okay.
So my advice is they need to build relationships, right? So things are easier. if you want the beat specifically, don't just be friends with the producer. Be friends. There are beat makers, there are producers. Those are two different things, right?
Okay.
So you need to be. Beat makers are those that sits alone and they send it like that. But a producer is the one that unpack everything from the bottom. When there's something wrong, they'll be like, no, but your voice is going like this. We can change that. We can add that.
Nice.
Yeah, so you understand. So build relationship with that. So things are much more easier, and people can give you what you're looking for before you even ask for it.
And then, you know, your last words for the people that love Oz Beats and that, you know, look up to you. I mean, you are a role model somewhere, somehow, and you are a legend in the industry. I mean, now you write articles, things they not everyone can do.
Hey, these things, some of the things, they are better when people are talking when you are not there, especially if you have to answer.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have to go back and say, so I remember when I was speaking to Kineilwe, and she asked me, what name do you want to use? Do you want to use Dr. Oz, or you want to, what name? Because she saw two names, so I want to start there before I get here. So when I was producing music, I've been, because, you know, it takes 7 years to get the, what you call a PhD, right? So the doctor comes from there. So because it's been more than that, so it went to doctor. So, yes. So, and I'm very good.
Dogotela. Yes.
So now what I want to say is, so Mazima is my first name.
Right.
Oz is my second name. So when I went into doing what I'm doing as writing articles, I was like, yes, I've built my name, but I'm taking it as a stepping stone now. I don't want people who read my article because they've known me making music. I don't want favors when we are reading because we know him. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I did a whole 360 rebranding. I went back, called myself by my first name and my dad's name. So it worked, because now I was hustling like a new person.
Wow.
Right? Because I was like, if I am a brand, I need to prove to other brands that as a new brand, you can make it work. Not relying on your father's name. Not that there's wrong with having a father's name, but some of the things you won't get them because of your father's name. Some of the things you need to get them. So Bazima Thomason works better for me, because now when I write,
Bazima. Right.
Yeah, but mine, it's kind of nice. It doesn't have the H. It's got it's MBA. So like the mba. No, mba. No, like you're trying to kiss someone. Yeah, that's the one. So, so now when it comes to writing the articles, the one thing that I can say is, one of the things, even if you go and read each and every article, most press, right? They have the negative side of people.
Yeah.
I choose to be different. You know, I've advocated for plus size, and I was saying good things. You know, I know there are bad things. I know there's obese that could be involved, but you can work that out, right? But what's the good thing? You're beautiful, you're confident, you can do this, you can do that. How about we point that out? So for me to write that is to show the community that there's a good side of the people. So I don't want to be the news media that stands for shaming people, stand for degrading. I want to be here for praising people. I want, when you read about yourself, you like, is this me or is this someone else? And it is you.
True, very true. And I mean, you are doing a very, you know, like you have a huge role to play in this game, and you are changing Mapilo Abatu. And I believe that a lot of people that you've touched, you know, they are better people. And there are times where you post something that one reflects, or, oh, okay, am I doing it right, or am I doing it wrong? Thank you so much for being that person. And one of the craziest stories that Oz Beats wrote that raised my eyebrows was when he wrote about a male prostitute. For me, was wow, okay. And when I read that, I was like, Ooh la la. But anyway, thank you so much, Mbazima, for joining us on the show. Thank you so much for being the better, version of men that we have in this country. And thank you so much for being a game changer.
I'd like to say a thing before I go
Yeah.
because I'll never have this opportunity
Yes, and
today.
I also want you, whilst you are on that, please tell people where they can find this.
Okay,
on the
so
news.
it's simple. It's HMR News Updates. So it's www.hmrnewsupdates.com.
newsupdates.com.
That's because it's on a global scale.
Yeah.
It's not just only local. So the idea was to take the artist here and put them on a global
Platform. I love
global
that.
platform.
Right.
And the email is info@hmrnewsupdates.com.
If we want to send stories and
If you
stuff.
want to send stories, if it's worth writing, we'll write about it. I know
But
people
if it's
worth writing. That's why that's why they say there's newsworthy. Or it's newsworthy, whatever the right way of putting it. But if it's newsworthy, we'll write about it. If it's not, unfortunately, we're gonna have to drop it. So,
your
guys,
last words?
my last words is, guys, this platform, it's built for you. You don't have to bribe me to write your story. It's built for you. Send a story to the email that I've given. Hopefully they're gonna drop the email on the screen.
Yes, we
So
will. Definitely.
this platform is for you. Even if you have a business, you want to tell people, even if you have accomplishments that are newsworthy, we will tell your story.
Beautiful. I love that. Le utlwile? Ha o nyake gore o ntshe tjotjo, payola for you to get.
Yeah, because
your
artists
article.
are bribing everywhere. So this platform is to reduce that heartache and headache and wupilo ache.
I love that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Anyway, that was Mba. We take Mba.
Simba.
Yeah, but anyway, that was our legend go Soweto. You stay in Soweto, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's part of the Soweto gang. Yes, yeah. I mean, what if even the email addresses he gave us information. But anyway, today it was a beautiful session, and I hope you are enjoying the season 2. We are coming gradually nice. So please make sure that you follow Dreamstream on www.dreamstream.co.za, and please follow us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are also on TikTok. It's Dreamstream. And if you do want to follow me on social media, it's Queen KR Royal on Facebook, and then on TikTok and Instagram, it's Queen KR_Royal. And if you do want to follow me on Twitter, ke Setlogolo sa Batlokwa. Anyway, go tswa go nna Setlogolo sa Batlokwa ke re. Mwah.
Demba.
All I need tonight is your voice.